Honestly, Bob, I'm low-key bored. Got any video suggestions? I mean, could horror games? Sure, why not, bro? When you think about horror game, what comes to mind? Most people would say demonology, doors, piggy, games like that. However, we would be diving in the most deeper known, more terrible horror games. Anyways, let's get into it. The first game we got is Cenat HORROR, which is a Cenat horror game. I mean, I guess. When you first load in, it shows Cenat containment, which basically gets out of the containment and start finding this bee thing. However, Cenat loses the fight. And also, apparently, the bee also dies. Oh my god, it's one of these games. Yeah, it's a launchmat game, I guess. Anyways, I clocked in at the back of the launchmat. And then I just had to do washing clothes, drying clothes for the next 2 minutes. And then the news came on. Basically just said Cenat broke out of containment. And it says stay away from laundromats, especially in the laundromat vial, which that's where we are. And wouldn't it be common sense for us just to leave right now? I guess not. But then I could just continue doing clothes and laundry, bro. And then a skeleton came up here and started singing this song, which I won't play since it might be copyrighted. And after that, Cenat is apparently coming soon for like 0 reason. So, and then we had to keep doing laundry. Oh my god! And then finally, Cenat comes into the laundromat, and then leaves for 0 reason, and we didn't do it for free. And then back to laundry. Oh my god. And then we had to clean up the toilet outside. And then back to laundry. And then we had to pick up the phone, which was just straight static. And then back to laundry. And then this random delivery guy gave us a potion that said not poison whatever, and we had to drink it. And then the phone started ringing again. It just said, you just drink poison that kills all your weaknesses or whatever. When it tells us to go to the back, and then Kai comes out, and then the bee comes back, and we gotta defeat Kai together. Oh my god! Why all this fight plays in the background? I'm gonna do my rating. The game was just repetitive, so I'll give the overall game rating it's 3 out of 10, and then I'll give the horror rating a 0 out of 10. The game was like not even scary. Anyways, it's time for the next game. The next game we got is a game called Complex Infurnishings, which is a backrooms furniture game. Okay, this is just a Backrooms movie, but in Roblox. Oh yeah, this is just a Captain Clark ad at the start of the movie, bro. When we first load in, we're given a task. Get furniture to complete the daily quota. We got 1 day to do so. Okay, then, when you head downstairs, it's just like the movie. Then, when you go to the basement, you can go through the wall to enter the back rooms. And then, yeah, apparently you can pick up furniture, and that's how you get the furniture for the daily quota. And then it's back and forth for this until the next day. And then the next day, people now comes in to meet the daily quota to buy your furniture. And again, like last video, I played this with my friend Cass, which we basically saw Captain Clark and the Still Alives, which still has a basic mimic of yourself, so it has entities, but they don't show it often, and I like that. So, time for my rating. It was a fun game, like how you, like the whole entire point of the game, go back and forth, and yeah, I like that. So, yeah, I'm gonna give this game a 7 out of 10, since I like the style it's going for. And I'll give the horror rating 3 out of 10. Sometimes the mimics could be scary, but however, it's time for the next game. The next game we got is VERITY, which if you've seen the VERITY horrors movies on YouTube, it's basically that. When you first wake up, you wake up in your bed and go find something to eat and take a dump. And then there's a bots outside, just like in the That Mob series. And you meet VERITY. And then we had to buy VERITY a donut for some reason and get some food. But however, we had to steal the fruit from this one guy, and then he starts chasing us for some reason. The animation's a little goofy, but I guess. But when we head to sleep, we get a nightmare of VERITY. Like, oh my god, this shit isn't fucking scary. Oh my god. However, when we wake up, VERITY says something is coming in 3 days. Which means he gets into this repetitive cycle of working, buying, working, buying, working, buying, and we also have hunger and thirst. Also, mind you, you have to do that for like 5 minutes. And that's 3 days, so that'd be 15 minutes or however long. I was just thinking they just wanted to get premium payouts. Oh my god. It's literally the same thing as a laundromat game as well, which that was already repetitive enough. However, yeah, VERITY killed someone because he wants to be alone with us. In my opinion, that's a little gay, but still. After all that, you're finally ready and prepared for the 3rd day, which, if you know what happened in Bob's series, you know what the 3rd day is. Once it turns nighttime, we had to hide from the VERITY Ace, Skinwalker, whatever it's called. Plus, the VERITY's a PNG for like some reason, bro. Although I died, it was pretty dumb. It said escape in the car, but it literally said find tires, and I could not find any tires. So that's how I died in this game. I'm gonna have to give this game a 6 out of 10. It's one of the better games on this list, and for horror, I'll say 4 out of 10. I mean, it could scare you sometimes, but still. Anyways, it's time for the intermission time. Yo, why is Skibidi Dev here, Bob? Hi! Look, he just wants to rate one of the games. Just let him rate one of the last games we're gonna do, bro. Fine!
Yay! Anyways, guys, back to the rating. The next game we got is Night of the Infirmary, which is an animal hospital inspired game. When you first load in, you're greeted by this one guy, which he wants you to sign him up for the hospital and sign him in and stuff. And then you have to do little surgery on him to fix his broken bones, which, I mean, the test was pretty fun. And also sometimes it looks like a demon and we had to crucify him for some reason, which, I mean, that was a good aspect. Never mind. When we crucify him, it says he was a normal patient, as if he wasn't even literally floating and had a demonic face on him. And it happened multiple times. And anyway, it's time for the rating. This game was pure repetitive, and I wouldn't play it again. Because it's just a copy of Animal Hospital. Like, bro, just play the normal Animal Hospital. So I'm gonna give this game a 5 out of 10. I mean, I guess I like the modeling and the surgery aspect, but still, it was pretty buggy game. And I'll give the horror rating a 3 out of 10. I mean, some of the scares kind of scary. But that's it. Anyway, it's time for the next game.
This game's called Sleep Paralysis, which is a story-based horror game about sleep paralysis. Anyways, let's get into it. When we first load in, we had to go to our job and grab something to eat. Then once we go to our job, our boss says we're late and we gotta start crates. And the boss was being mean to us, like, because we were late, like, it's not that deep, gang. And then once we get back to our house, we decide to head to sleep for the night. However, we wake up 3:08 a.m. However, we cannot move at all, meaning that we're in sleep paralysis currently. While we were sleeping, or in sleep paralysis, something was messing with our lights, and we had to tell them to stop, and then we wake up. And then we go back to work and go grab something to eat. And the boss says, you don't let a guy any sleep, and like, don't schedule us at 7 then. Then we gotta pick up crates again, yay. And once we go back home, we have to sleep again for the next day at work. Then we wake up at 3 a.m. again. And then we're in sleep paralysis again. However, we see a literal sleep paralysis demon. And then we wake up again. And then we go to the kitchen to grab something from the fridge. But then we see the sleep paralysis demon again. And then we finally wake up. Once we go back to work, we get a warning paper. And we have to sign it. Because low performance and stuff like that, like, what? After we do our job, we go back home. And once we head back to sleep, we wake up at 2:33 a.m. again. And we get haunted by a sleep paralysis demon yet again. And we get killed in our dream yet again. And now we got paranoid and we stopped counting the nights of this sleep paralysis thing happening. And we also don't decide to go to work today. However, tonight is different. We didn't have no sleep paralysis demons haunted us. And the work is causing him to be paranoid and having him sleep paralysis. And we quit our job, and that pretty much ended the game. My rating for this game is a 10 out of 10. I love the story, and we should give more support to small developers like this. And the horror rating, 5 out of 10. So anyways, it's time for the next game. The next game and final game we got is the Hour of Creation, my bad. Which is basically just the joy of creation in Roblox. So basically, we have to look for some fuses, which can be in drawers or closets or whatever. Me and my friend Gaming King literally did this, and we cannot find any fuse boxes whatsoever. I guess the Freddy model and the jump scare animation was pretty cool. Honestly, I would have to give this game a 5 out of 10. I like the normal joy of creation better than this. The horror rating, I'll also give that a 6 out of 10. Since it could be kinda scary, it creeps up on you. Anyways, it's time to head back home. Man, Bob, that was a lot of games, bro. Yeah, I told you. I know what the next game we're gonna be doing. What are we gonna be doing? One game. called Ito. Thank you all for watching my video, and make sure to like and subscribe.